Ooh. Oh, okay. Let's get into it. Hello, Natali, my love. I hope you are doing well. This is your roast or reading. I'm interested to dive in for quite a few reasons. Is this a grand cross we have? Or at least close to? It may not be the exact degree of a grand cross, but we're going to get into it. And if you are not Natali, but you are interested in getting a roast or reading or a personal one-on-one astrology session with me, you can check me out at rxtarot.com. Okay, Natali, my love. Very interesting chart right off of the bat. I am going to start with the rising sign. It just makes the most sense. The rising sign is the point on the horizon, the moment of your birth. For you to have a Leo rising, this means that your chart ruler is your sun. Your sun in Aries at 29 degrees. That is tricky. That's really tricky because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's really the baby in so many ways, right? It's the beginning. But 29 degrees is feeling like you should be a professional toddler. Being a professional, you should know everything right off the bat. And the reason is that 29th degree creates a sense of wisdom that not a lot of people would associate with Aries. Aries is meant to be new. There's sort of this like rush in ahead and just go for it. But the 29th degree makes that a little bit complicated. You're a little bit more cautious. You're a lot more cautious with your Libra moon sort of balancing you out as well, and pulling you out of that energy. However, your midheaven is also at 29 degrees. If I can get that to circle. Where is she at? MC. 29 degrees. Sun, 29 degrees. Very interesting. Because as a Leo rising, you're always being pulled into your midheaven. I would not be surprised if you don't have some perfectionist tendencies. And these are not signs that I would typically consider perfectionists. But there's this desire to be seen the right way. There's this desire to be seen in your best light always. Because your sun is what gives you life. Your sun in Aries, being brave, going out and doing things that make you feel bold and exciting. But with your midheaven, there is sort of this like, oh my gosh, I always have to be the sun. I always have to be the one radiating for everyone around me. There's a lot of pressure with that, especially with the Libra moon, and this can get confused. Libra moons especially tend to want to make sure that everyone else feels okay too, and maybe first. Libra moons tend to want to fix everybody else's problems first and then work on their own. And that leaves them out of balance. That leaves them out of whack. This is worse for you because you have a Cancer Chiron. Your Chiron is the biggest wound. The biggest wound in your 11th house, being seen. I love you so much. The biggest wound is being seen, but especially being seen as vulnerable, being seen as not having it all together, not feeling collected. And it can literally be the wound of emotions. There's a few different ways to look at Chiron in Cancer. It can be wound of family, wound of the mother, or wound of emotions, which is the most accurate across the board, regardless of what other things you have going on. So with Chiron and Cancer, there is this desire to heal your wounds and do it publicly. Something that might make you cry, and I'm sorry if it does, but something that really spoke to me recently was heal out loud, because we almost lost you in the silence. I feel like you needed to hear that. I love you so much. I love you so much. Let's come back over here. So first house, Leo. You feel like you have to be in charge. You have to be the one to take charge. And it's not from a place of like, you want to be seen. How do I explain it? It's not necessarily from that place of wanting to be known for something or wanting to feel good about something in the way that, you know, other people are proud of you. It's not really that as much as it is, you can feel like you're not living up to your expectations, your own personal desires to help others. Having a Leo rising is not as fun as people make it seem to be. There's a lot of pressure there. There's Scorpio in the 4th. Because you're a millennial, it's Pluto. So I don't know what's going on with the childhood. I'm not sure. I'm not going to get into that in this video. But there's intensity there. There's a lot of sudden changes. There's a lot of transformation. At 29 degrees with the root and the midheaven at 29 degrees with your sun. A lot of wisdom, a lot of intense experiences probably. Your second house is how you see your self-worth. South node in Virgo. Remember when I was just saying there's like something about, I smell perfectionism. Oh, here it is. The way you were taught that you had to be in order to, and like what you had to do in order to be seen as valuable or worthy, that can catch you up a little bit. Because if you try to fit into this perfect little box all of the time, there's very few times you're going to fully feel worthy. You may feel better, you may feel lighter, but until you understand your true power, your North Node in Pisces going into the 8th house, your path is about trusting the unknown. It's about not having it all figured out, all planned out, not knowing exactly how you're going to do it. It is about trusting the unknown. And I know I've seen some stories from you where when you do trust the unknown, some really cool things have happened. So you have evidence of this already. But I can definitely see this back and forth here. Having an opposing sun and moon is tricky. Having your sun in Aries, your moon in Libra, that's got to be tricky for a couple of reasons. The sun is self, right? The sun is about yourself. It's about your ego. And Aries is quite literally the definition of self. It's about going forward and being the first to do it. So I think there's a lot of pressure on you. I don't know if you're like the first one to go to college, the first one to break out of like an old mindset. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. Everyone knew this from the Leo sun though. Everyone who knows astrology knew that from the Leo sun. And then making it more intense is your Taurus 10th house, right? Because you've got your Venus, you've got your Mercury. There's this desire to make something lasting and to be the one with the long-term vision. Taurus and Mercury also can get really stuck in old thoughts, in old ways of thinking, in old ways of expressing themselves. So if there was a time in your life where you felt like, okay, this is who I am, that can continue for the rest of your life if you don't work to change it. Because you've got Pluto here opposing that energy. Because you have Pluto here opposing that energy, it's not like you're stuck forever and you're done, but it can be tricky for you to get out of that. So learning to work through that is about self-love, obviously, and feeling your feelings. Feel your feelings. And not intellectualizing them. It also kind of sucks. I mean, okay, coming back to your 3rd house, it sucks that your moon's in Libra, because that's intellectualizing city. Having this desire to understand your feelings instead of just feel them and let them go. And then it's in the 3rd house, and then it's right next to your Lilith. So there's this shadow aspect to your emotions. There's this fear of unraveling everything you've worked for if you let yourself feel too much. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure in your chart. I don't know if you knew this, because it seems so evenly spread out. What do you mean? We're not all hanging out on the same sign, except for this millennial knot of Capricorn energy. How did we get stuck with this? I mean, come on now. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on there. So coming back full circle, where are we at here? Sun in Aries in the 9th, there's this deep desire to connect to a higher purpose, higher power. Learn to give your stressors over to whatever you believe in. That will help you. Moon in Libra in the 3rd, constantly trying to overanalyze every emotion you have instead of just feeling them. That will heal your Chiron. That will help you heal so many issues that you probably have been dealing with. Mercury in Taurus. You're also so calm. I feel like there's times where you keep a level head when everyone else is losing it. I feel like there's probably old woundings around jobs because of that. Process that to the best of your ability. Taurus Venus in the 10th is truly a beautiful placement. That's truly beautiful. Venus is a ruler of Taurus. Taurus is about long-term commitment, long-term love, finding someone you can build with, and it's in the 10th house. The 10th is all about your long-term goals, your long-term legacy. It can be career, 100%. So it's like finding a partner that helps you grow your career. It could be, finding stability within a partner, finding stability within, in a way that maybe is a little unconventional because it's connected to love connection, right? Also, long-term commitment, like when you really truly stick to something that you want to do and you give yourself time to build, again, can be a little tricky because of the Aries energy. There's this desire to just kind of either be immediately successful at it or like never want to do it again. When you trust the long-term goals, you will hit success. And that's your Capricorn energy seconds that, especially when you commit on a day-to-day basis. You have a solid routine around those long-term goals. That's going to be really, really good for you. You're in your Jupiter return as I'm recording this. Love that. New expansions, new realizations of like how you can show up in a way that feels good to you. Expansion around how you see yourself and what you're ready to share with others. Expansion around what you're gonna do because it's next to your Mars specifically. And having your Mars in Gemini is all about enjoying yourself and doing things that are fun. I think something that can be a little bit tricky with this chart is you are meant to be having fun. I don't remember if you've told me your human design, but I would be willing to bet it's either a generator or manifesting generator, only because, maybe even manifestor, but mainly those other two, because there's this desire for fun in your chart everywhere. There's a lot of responsibility on your shoulder. There's a lot of like pressure of trying to take yourself more seriously. But when you break free, when you actually lean into this Gemini Mars and let yourself be playful, especially on social media, and you let yourself have more fun and you break free from this South Node in Virgo and like feeling like you have to know it all and you have to be logical about it, you're gonna feel more free and it's gonna be easier to stick to a long-term goal. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. It was a roast, it was a reading, a little bit of both, you know what I mean? I really hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much for booking. And if you are someone who is interested in one of these personal astrology roasts, you can book it at rxtarot.com. I also do coaching, one-on-one sessions, human design, tarot, astrology. I can't juggle it yet, but I'll work on that. Thank you so much. Bye.